Are you ready to witness the complete disruption of the mirrorless camera market? For years, full-frame cameras have dominated the conversation, leaving APS-C shooters begging for true flagship performance. Well, the wait is almost over. Leaks and FCC filings for 2026 have just revealed that Canon is about to unleash an absolute monster. They are calling it the Mini R1, and it is poised to become the undisputed king of APS-C. Welcome back to Tech Vibe, your ultimate destination for cutting-edge tech breakdowns, premium gear reviews, and exclusive hardware leaks. Today, we are diving deep into the highly anticipated Canon EOS R7 Mark II. Grab a seat, and whatever you do, do not click away, because the authentic specs we are about to unpack will completely change how you view crop sensor photography. Let us start with the absolute biggest bombshell, the sensor. For the longest time, APS-C sensors were treated as the budget-friendly little siblings to full-frame powerhouses. Not anymore. Authentic leaks and industry roadmaps heavily indicate that the Canon EOS R7 Mark II is bringing a brand new, 39 to 40 megapixel backside illuminated stacked CMOS sensor to the table. A stacked sensor in a Canon APS-C body is a monumental leap forward. The original R7 was a fantastic camera, but it suffered from one glaring issue that frustrated wildlife and sports photographers: rolling shutter. When panning quickly to track a cheetah in full sprint or a bird taking flight, the electronic shutter would often warp the background or the subject's wings. By upgrading to a stacked sensor architecture, Canon is fundamentally altering the performance envelope. Stacked sensors place the processing circuitry directly beneath the pixels, allowing for lightning-fast readout speeds. This means rolling shutter artifacts are practically eradicated. You are getting the raw speed of a mechanical shutter with the absolute silence of an electronic one, which is a massive advantage when you are shooting skittish wildlife or operating in highly restricted professional environments. But a stacked sensor is only half of the equation. To handle the massive pipeline of data coming from 40 million pixels, the R7 Mark II will feature Canon's newest DIGIC Accelerator processor. This is the exact same silicon architecture found in their top-tier flagship bodies. Because of this sheer processing power, we are expecting continuous shooting speeds of up to 40 frames per second with full autofocus and auto-exposure tracking. 40 frames per second at 40 megapixels is not just fast, that is capturing micro-moments that the human eye cannot even perceive. Crucial to this speed is the inclusion of a blackout-free viewfinder. When you are tracking erratic subjects through the electronic viewfinder, you will not experience any of that jarring stutter or blackout that makes you lose your framing. You will see a continuous, real-time feed, keeping you firmly locked onto the action. Furthermore, this immense processing headroom unlocks a highly requested feature for premium-tier cameras: pre-capture raw burst. Imagine you are waiting for a kingfisher to dive into the water. Human reaction time is often just a fraction of a second too late. With pre-capture enabled, the moment you half-press the shutter, the camera starts buffering images internally. When you finally fully press the shutter, it saves the images from the half-second before you even reacted. This means you will never miss the decisive moment again. For professional wildlife and sports shooters, this single feature easily justifies the upgrade. Now, let us talk about autofocus, because Canon has been absolutely relentless in this department. The autofocus on the original R7 was great, but the R7 Mark II is about to elevate it to a level that rivals the mighty EOS R3 and R5 Mark II. Because the stacked sensor reads data so incredibly fast, the autofocus algorithms receive significantly more calculations per second. This translates to an incredibly sticky, reliable subject tracking system. Whether you are photographing cars speeding around a track, athletes darting across a field, or a falcon diving out of the sky, the dual-pixel CMOS autofocus system, powered by deep learning artificial intelligence, will lock onto eyes, heads, and bodies with terrifying precision. It will effortlessly ignore foreground obstacles like tree branches or fences, maintaining perfect focus exactly where you want it. For the hybrid shooters and cinematographers out there, the video specifications on the R7 Mark II are shaping up to be nothing short of phenomenal. The rumor mill strongly suggests that this camera could offer internal 8K video recording, likely UHD 8K. Yes, you heard that right, 8K resolution on an APS-C camera. Even if you do not deliver your final commercial projects in 8K, having that massive resolution allows you to aggressively crop, reframe, and stabilize your footage in post-production while still outputting a pristine, razor-sharp 4K file. And speaking of 4K, you can expect heavily oversampled 4K video up to 60 frames per second with absolutely no crop, giving you maximum sharpness and incredible detail. There are also murmurs of 4K at 120 frames per second for silky smooth slow motion, alongside Canon log profiles for maximum dynamic range when color grading. Combined with an expected 8.5 stops of in-body image stabilization, you will be able to capture incredibly smooth handheld footage without constantly needing to lug around a heavy gimbal on set. Of course, all of this internal power requires serious hardware upgrades to keep it running smoothly. Canon is reportedly addressing the ergonomic quirks of the original R7. The Mark II is expected to adopt a body style much closer to the highly praised R6 Mark III. This means a deeper, more comfortable grip for those long days in the field with heavy telephoto lenses, and improved weather sealing for harsh environments. More importantly, to manage the intense heat generated by 8K video and rapid-fire bursts, the chassis will likely feature advanced thermal dissipation management. To feed this beast, Canon is moving to the higher capacity LPE6P battery, ensuring you have the juice needed for intensive, all-day shoots. And to write all that massive data securely, the memory card configuration is finally getting the true pro treatment. You can expect dual card slots, with at least one being a CF Express Type B slot. This is mandatory to clear the buffer instantly when shooting 40 megapixels at 40 frames per second. So, when can you actually get your hands on this engineering marvel, and how much is it going to hurt your wallet? Reliable industry sources and recent FCC certification filings strongly point to an official announcement and release window in late May or early June of 2026. Canon is clearly positioning this as a premium, professional-grade APS-C flagship, meaning it will not come cheap. While the original R7 launched around $1,500, the inclusion of a stacked sensor and the DIGIC Accelerator will undoubtedly push the price significantly higher. Analysts are predicting a launch price north of $2,000, potentially sitting in the $2,400 to $2,500 range. While that sounds steep for a crop sensor, you have to remember that you are essentially getting flagship, full frame speed, and processing in a body that gives you the coveted 1.6x reach advantage for your telephoto lenses. For a wildlife photographer, buying an R7 Mark II and a relatively affordable RF 100 to 500mm lens gives you the equivalent reach of an 800mm lens, saving you tens of thousands of dollars compared to buying exotic, heavy prime lenses. This camera is not just an incremental upgrade, it is a bold statement from Canon. It proves that APS-C is not dead, and in fact, it is rapidly evolving into a highly specialized tool for professionals and serious enthusiasts who demand speed, reach, and uncompromising image quality. The EOS R7 Mark II is shaping up to be a true giant killer in the modern camera market. And that wraps up our exclusive deep dive into the undisputed future of APS-C cameras. Thank you for tuning in to Tech Vibe, your premium source for the tech that actually matters. If this breakdown got you hyped for the future of photography, make sure to absolutely smash that like button and subscribe to the channel right now so you never miss out on the hardware leaks that shape our industry. Drop a comment down below and let me know, are you willing to pay a premium pro-level price for a stacked APS-C sensor, or are you strictly sticking with full frame? Keep innovating, keep creating, and I will see you in the next one.